Hello and welcome to your upper body focus, specifically your strong arms and strong back yoga strength class. Today's class is a little bit different than a traditional yoga class and flow, so we are going to go ahead and either do this workout body weight or you can grab some light dumbbells. Let's go. To start today's class, we will start in a 4-point stance position, toes grounded onto the floor and the palms and the fingertips spread nice and open. Inhaling to look up towards the ceiling, chest is open, and on the exhaling, drawing your navel up towards the sky and rounding your back as your chin draws forward. Inhaling to bring your forehead and your chin upwards with the chest towards the ceiling, and exhaling to bring your navel up towards the sky, rounding the back, chin tucks in. We are doing this at your own comfortable pace. We'll do this 4 more times here, really focusing on the breath work. And if you like to close the eyes here, feel free to keep the eye gaze heavy and just melt into your core, your arms, and your back, working through this nice and beautiful release. Awesome work, everyone. We'll do 1 more cat-cow. And on your next exhalation, when you round your back and your navel draws up towards the sky, pushing your hips nice and high up towards the sky in a downward facing dog, and slowly inhalation coming into a high plank position. Breath retention, dropping the knees down, keeping the elbows close to the midline, chin is on the floor. Zigzag line, and inhalation, baby cobra or cobra, and exhalation coming with the toes hooked onto the floor, pushing back onto your knees, pushing your hips nice and high in downward facing dog. Inhalation back into strong high plank, dropping down, knees down, breath retention, zigzag line. And inhalation to come into cobra, keeping the elbows close, or baby cobra, lifting the arms away from the floor. And exhalation to come back into downward facing dog. For my friends who want to take this up a notch, feel free to remove zigzag line and coming straight into chaturanga dandasana, flipping the toes down and lifting your hips off the floor, upward facing dog. And exhaling to push yourself back into downward facing dog. Repeating the cycle here, whichever variation you would like to take today. Feel free to continue on through either chaturanga dandasana or zigzag line, through upward facing dog or baby cobra or cobra, and back into downward facing dog. Doing this one last time at your own comfortable pace. Strong high plank, either zigzag line or chaturanga dandasana, baby cobra, cobra, or upward facing dog. And exhalation to push your hips nice and high in downward facing dog, either holding yourself in a nice static downward facing dog, or perhaps lifting your heels up and down to get a little bit of a stretch in our first longer hold of downward facing dog. On your next exhalation, slowly dropping the knees all the way to the floor. Open your knees and your hips out wide, pushing your hips onto your heels. Lengthen the arms in child's pose. Forehead can be slightly lifted off of the floor or completely on the floor. Option to bring your hands behind your back in an interlaced position to get a little bit deeper of your shoulder and your upper back and tricep stretch here. Nice deep inhale through the nose and deep exhalation out through the mouth here. Taking one last full complete inhalation and complete exhalation. And on your next inhalation, slowly coming back up into our seated position. Transitioning into 4-point stance to set up, left palm is in the center line position in between your shoulders, and your toes are going to be hooking towards the floor, lifting your knees off of the floor into high plank on your exhalation, and with the right arm, either with or without the dumbbell, lifting on an inhalation into side plank. Legs can be staggered or stacked here. Exhalation to return back into high plank. Pelvis is drawing forward towards the floor. And inhaling to squeeze your shoulder blades, your arms, your back, your core into side plank position. Beautiful work. Just staying on that one side at your own comfortable pace. And to make it more challenging, you can stack your legs as you come into your side plank. And really breathing through your breath work here. The other option is to do this if you have any wrist sensitivity today, is to come onto your low plank and doing this movement exactly the same. All you're going to be doing is threading that top arm up towards the sky and then exhaling to thread that arm in between your lower armpit and your arm at the bottom position. Knowing that whichever variation you decide to take today, both are valid exercises and both are very challenging. Breathing through it here. We are almost there. Keep going. You got it. Every time we come into the side plank, really lifting through the hip and the side, waist and the obliques. And exhaling to return back into strong high plank. Let's do this one last time here. Breathing deeply. You're looking so strong. And next inhalation as you come into your side plank, we'll hold at the top here, and we're gonna move just the arm towards your head and back into starting position. So reach overhead and back up towards the sky. Nice work here, trying to keep the hips nice and high towards the sky as we just move the arm. Last one right here. And hold in a beautiful side plank for a second. And on your next exhalation, coming back through high plank and dropping your knees down, widen the hips, and bring your forehead back down to the floor. Reach your fingertips up towards the sky into child's pose. Feeling the heat that we created today in that first sequence. An option to bring your palms together behind your head to stretch a little bit more of your lats and your triceps here. We'll take one more full complete inhalation and complete exhalation. And on your next inhalation, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, walking your hands back up into our seated position. And we are switching sides. Setting up with or without a single dumbbell, we are coming into the right palm in the center line between your shoulders, and the left hand will be with the dumbbell if you choose to keep it. Exhaling to come into high plank and inhaling to reach your top arm up towards the sky. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And exhaling to return back into high plank. If you did take the low plank version of this exercise, feel free to take it. Really breathing through this here. We won't be here for long in the side plank sequence, so really making every single rep your best rep here. Last time here, exhaling back through strong high plank or thread through, and inhaling to reach your arm nice and long towards the sky. On your next inhalation, reaching up and just moving through the arms overhead and back into starting position. Checking in with your hips, making sure that they are nice and high, making sure that they do not fall towards the floor. Keeping your arms nice and lengthened overhead and reaching up towards the sky. Yes, you can. Last rep right here. And on your next inhalation, hold for a second. Inhale, exhale, and slowly returning back into high plank or coming all the way back down into our child's pose. Bringing your palms up towards the sky to relax your hands and your wrists, or option of bringing back into prayer position. Namaste, behind your head and the neck to really feel a nice elongation through the lats, the lateral side of our waistline, and the triceps deeply here. Taking one more full inhalation and complete exhalation. And on your next inhalation, slowly walking your hands back towards your knees in the sitting position. And we will slowly transition onto our push-up sequences. We will collectively start together on our knee position, where bring your fingers and your hands shoulder distance apart. Body weight comes forward, engage your shoulders back in the core. On your next inhalation, bending through the elbows, chest is coming down towards the floor, and exhaling to bring your chest away from the floor back into the starting position. Inhaling to hover and exhaling to push away, really making sure elbows are close to your midline as if you're holding $1 million bills in between your armpits. For my friends who want to level up, let's come into high plank, dropping down fully, and inhale down, exhale, push away. But for my friends who are still on the knees, continuing on through the push-ups here, making sure that your chest is the first one that drops down towards the floor. Your back, your low back specifically, is in that nice activated position so your hips can fall in line with that neutral spine. Prioritizing your form here if you find that your low back is dipping down towards the floor, coming onto your knees and finishing these reps nice and strong. You got it. Great work, everyone. Let's do one last push-up, either on your knees or in high plank. Beautiful work here. And on your next exhalation, coming back into our seated position and coming into our wrist mobility, into lotus, pressing your thumbs and coming into the back of your palms, circling your hands and keeping that nice direction from the thumbs down and lifting up. Really releasing through the wrists and the back of the arms. And on your next inhalation, reversing the direction, really making sure that now your pinky is starting down and then back of your palms, and rotate. Last time here. And on your next exhalation, releasing your arms and coming into our bent over position, lifting your palms up towards the sky. And we're bending into the elbows, coming into tricep extensions, bending the arms and extending them behind your back. If you'd like to take this up a notch, grabbing your dumbbells here. And of course, if you do start to find any tension in your low back or any tension in the knees, feel free to come into a tall kneeling position and continuing on into your tricep extensions this way. Keep on focusing on the breath work, exhaling as the arms reach behind you, and inhale into flexion and bend. Beautiful work, everyone. Keeping your elbows nice and close to the midline, really targeting into our triceps to prep for our next strong movement or hold for crow. Even if you are doing this exercise body weight today, it should feel very targeted, and you should really start to feel the heat of the back of the arms and your back really working here at the same time as your core statically holding. On your next exhalation, we're bringing the palms in towards the center and then back into the starting position, keeping your hands lifted away from your hips the whole time. Keep squeezing your navel up towards your spine, so protecting the low back as we're in this hinged position. We have last one right here. Beautiful. And let's hold, keeping your hands away from your hips, breathing through it. And on your next exhalation, slowly releasing the arms towards your hips. And we are coming into our climax of this class. This is going to be the hardest exercise or hold of the day. We are prepping for crow, coming into either a low squat or heels lifted squat. We're bringing your palms into equal distance for shoulder distance, and we're bringing your knees towards the back of the arms and the elbows here, keeping the elbows nice and close to the midline as we squeeze your upper back and core firmly in the center. On your next exhalation, bringing your knees on top and in contact with the back of the triceps, and then lifting your heels. And then on your next inhalation, coming out of it for a brief moment, back into a low squat. And of course, if this is your first time prepping or going into crow, no worries at all. You don't need to come into the lifting of the legs if this is your first time or you still haven't had the opportunity to practice this one yet. Feel free to just keep your hips nice and high, simultaneously keeping your heels off the floor as where you bend forward. Continuing on 2 more times with your prep work of bending forward, heels and hips high, and inhaling to return back to release for just a moment. Whenever you feel ready, you can feel free to explore with lifting one foot off the floor, then the other, or perhaps just doing one leg at a time until you manage your balance. If coming into full crow pose is not in your practice today, feel free to keep your toes onto the floor and really driving the heels and the hips up towards the sky, or lifting one leg off while maintaining in contact with the floor the opposite toe while the heel lifts. There are many different options for this, but the main goal is to keep moving, to keep practice in what feels best for your body and your strength today. For my friends who want a little bit more and are used to the full crow and want to challenge yourself today, you can feel free to take both of your dumbbells as an elevation surface and coming into our full crow pose with your arms in this unstable position while keeping yourself in a slightly lifted position with the dumbbells today. But only if that is in your practice today. Wherever you are, we are continuing to hold or move for last 10 seconds. Last opportunity to get a little bit deeper in crow today. Nice deep inhale through the nose, deep exhalation out through the mouth. And on your next exhalation, slowly coming back, bringing your heels back down onto the floor, bringing your belly down with your legs lengthened behind you, bending into your elbows, combating our strength position with our back bending posture into Cobra, keeping your hips and your legs nice and heavy. And when you're ready, on your next exhalation, pushing your hands firmly down onto the floor, elbows are close to you, and coming and lifting off your chest, either fully in a Cobra or lifting your fingertips and your palms complete off the floor in baby Cobra. For Cobra today, reminder at the top to keep a slight bend in the elbow. Inhaling to return back all the way with the chest and the forehead hovering off the floor. And exhaling to come into baby Cobra or Cobra. We'll do 2 more times in dynamic movement. Dynamic movement helps us to get a little bit deeper into the final static hold. So really making these dynamic movements a nice full range to really get deep in preparation for the static hold. Nice work, everyone. On your next exhalation, we are coming and holding either in a full Cobra position, extending and lengthening the arms now if you are in Cobra, or if you are in baby Cobra, holding at the bottom, keeping your chest off the floor, and really lifting your arms up and away from the floor. Imagine your shoulder blades are coming together, holding $1 million bill in between your shoulder blades, really keeping your shoulders away from your ears here. We're holding for last 3, 2, 1. And on your next inhalation, slowly creating a pillow by bringing stacked arms, laying one side of your cheek, and bringing the same leg knee bend, relaxing your low back, and just gently either keeping your eyes heavy or closed, coming into your natural cycles of breath here. And on your next exhalation, switch to the other side, really feeling a nice calmness after the heat that we created for our arms and our back today. You should feel so proud of yourself for getting through this workout, for strong arms, back, and core, and really just melting your body into this beautiful release. Taking one more full inhalation and a complete exhalation. And we'll go ahead and gently push back up into our seated position. We'll flip your palms down to the floor, fingertips towards your midline, and lifting and lowering from the palm, and really releasing the front line of our wrist and our arms and the shoulders. You can even move side to side or create beautiful circles in each direction to release that whole line of our arms and our shoulders and back today. Should feel so good, especially as we did a lot of gripping motions onto the floor and a lot of planks today. Listening to your body and really melting into this beautiful stretch and release for our wrists. We'll take one more full inhalation and complete exhalation. And when you feel ready, we'll go ahead and slowly come out of this beautiful stretch, and we'll collectively come into the center. We'll bring only the positive vibes in towards our heart center, bringing your hands into prayer, namaste, thanking yourself for showing up for yourself today. Thank you for allowing me to guide your practice today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a wonderful day.